Now we are going to learn about the optical activity of adamantane. Adamantane are very important structures in organic chemistry because only adamantane are the structure which are highly symmetrical in organic chemistry. There is no another structure which are highly symmetrical in organic chemistry. Now consider this is the characteristic structure of adamantane. In the structure of adamantane you have a 4 chair forms. I am going to explain how you check the 4 chair forms in the adamantane. First of all, the way of making adamantane I will explain you. You have to make a chair form like this. You have to make a chair form like this, and then from this particular side there is another carbon, there is another, and you are going to join, and there is another CH2 in between then and this. This is the highly symmetrical adamantane structure, and in this particular adamantane the two plane of symmetry is going to pass usually. So for the sake of convenience I am going to explain you the plane of symmetry in different ways. So I am going to explain both the plane of symmetry and particular structures of adamantane, but you have to just set a standard example for you so that in the exam you can solve the optical activity of adamantane easily. So if I am saying there is a hydrogen, chlorine, and any atom, if there is any atom I am talking about, a single atom, monovalent atom I am talking about, or CH3 can be there. I'm sorry, or CH3 can be there, then there is a plane which is going to pass. How I am saying this? Because there is a plane which are going to pass like this. This is a plane of symmetry in adamantane, and due to highly symmetrical structure, the most adamantanes are recurrent. Most of the adamantanes are recurrent. I am not saying all adamantane are recurrent. Most of the adamantanes are recurrent. So you have to consider a plane like this, because if you are going to pass a plane from here, 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 and here, it's little complicated. For the sake of convenience, just set the two standards for the plane of symmetry in adamantane, and from that plane of symmetry standards, you can solve any question in the exam. So a plane is exist. You don't have to check all the planes in a particular molecule in organic chemistry. You just find out any one symmetry element, either plane of symmetry or center of symmetry. Center of symmetry is very tough in adamantane, so we are going to see the plane of symmetry criteria only for making our approach easier to solve the questions. So if you are going to see the plane of symmetry in any molecule, if you are going to see the plane of symmetry any single plane, then you can mark a chiral in that particular molecule very easily. You just have to identify only one symmetry element. So there is a plane which are going to exist in this particular, and if there is hydrogen, there can be fluorine, there can be chlorine as well. So there is another plane which can pass from here as well. This plane is like this. If I am plotting the plane like this, and this particular plane also bisecting the hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine from the both position. So this is another plane, that is the second plane of symmetry, which is starting from this particular end, going like this, bisecting this particular carbon, going like this, and if it's going from here, it also bisecting the substituent attached on this position, and starts going from here, here, and bisect the hydrogen, chlorine, and fluorine as well. So this is another plane of symmetry which are going to exist in the adamantane. I am explaining the plane of symmetry in adamantane very easily to you in two different examples. Just consider you can add any substituent, say chlorine, fluorine, bromine, CH3, iodine, anything. So because of this particular plane of symmetry, you can bisect any of that. So that adamantanes are achiral in nature because the plane of symmetry is existing. So you just have to set some standards for you so that you can solve the questions in the exam. It's very easy to set a particular example to just memorize the particular concept, and for that you can solve your questions. So if I am going to see a plane here, so this is the plane of symmetry in adamantane, so that's why I am saying adamantane is highly symmetrical. Due to the presence of these particular substituents, we have a plane of symmetry in adamantane. It's very tough to see, but you have to. Now consider another plane of symmetry. Just consider fluorine, chlorine, bromine, or just consider if CH3 is also here. Now I am passing a plane in adamantane like this from this particular side, passing a plane like this, and it's. So if any of the substituents present here, or if any of the substituent present here, it got bisected, because these substituents are bisecting and these substituents bisecting. So you have to remember this particular positions in the adamantane. If any of the substituents are present on this particular position, it is going to bisect it is going to bisect because of the plane of symmetry. So if these two types of the plane are present in the adamantane, we can say that the particular adamantane are achiral in nature. Now consider this particular example of adamantane when you have a chlorine here and here. So just consider this particular second pH which I have explained you in the previous slide, that is the second plane of symmetry. So you have to consider the concept of plane of symmetry and maintain to make your approach easier to solve the question in exam. Just pass the plane like this. This we are going to pass a plane, and it's so any substituent present but there is only hydrogen and hydrogen is bisecting, then that's okay for us, and like this. So this particular carbon bisecting, this particular groups bisecting, their groups bisecting, and other groups are reflecting. So these two chlorines are reflecting to each other. If the two chlorines are reflecting to each other, then this is also a plane, and if this is a plane, so that means this is a achiral adamantane. So it's a very important question for the exam point of view. It's a very important example of optically inactive adamantane or achiral adamantane due to the plane of symmetry which are going to exist and the two chlorine atoms are reflecting each other. Adamantane is highly symmetrical structure and it generally have 3 rings and 4 chair. So it's a very important thing that you have to remember, like how many of rings and how many of chair forms are existing in adamantane. You have to check. There is 4 chair forms in adamantane. I will explain you the 4 chair forms in adamantane. Just consider this is the structure of adamantane. This is one chair form. I am going to tell the total number of the chair forms in adamantane. This is one chair form, this is one chair form, this one, this. I am going to show you 4 chair forms in adamantane. This is one form. Just remember that this is one form. This is another form. If you can see, this is another chair form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is another chair form. You can see that as well. This is another chair form. So I have shown you 3. One is this, one this, and one is this. Another is this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one. So we have 4 chair forms in adamantane. We have 4 chair forms in adamantane and we have 3 rings. So how you are going to calculate the number of the rings in adamantane? It's very easy. It's very easy to check the number of rings in adamantane. So in any organic compound, if you have to check the number of rings, it's a very easier formula. Just you have to make your scaffold acyclic. You have to make your scaffold acyclic, and the number of the bonds that you are breaking to make your scaffold acyclic, that is the number of rings present in the particular molecule. So these are having a 3 rings because only by breaking the 3 bonds in the adamantane structure we are going to get the acyclic structure of adamantane, and by breaking the 3 bonds, if we get the acyclic structure of adamantane, that means that 3 rings are there in the adamantane structure. I am going to explain you by this. Just you have to break 3 bonds. If I am saying I can break this particular bond, I can break this bond. Just consider the structure of adamantane again. Just consider the structure of adamantane. I am going to break the bonds. So the number of the bonds that you are going to break in adamantane is the number of rings that are going to exist. This is a very general thing. You can apply in different organic scaffold as well. So this is the characteristic structure of adamantane. And if now suppose I am breaking this bond. If I am breaking this bond, if I am going to break these particular bonds, then your structure is like this. Because I have break one bond. So if I am going to break one bond, this is a particular structure. And what happens if I am going to break this particular bond and this particular bond? So I have to break this bond and this bond. So total overall I have to break 3 bonds. In exams you can draw like this as well. This bond, and this bond. There is another CH2. I have break this bond, I have break this bond, and I have break this bond. So 3 bonds I have break. I have break the 3 bonds, and if the 3 bonds I have breaked, and if the 3 bonds that I have breaked lead to the formation of acyclic structure of adamantane, If the 3 bonds I have break and that leads to the formation of acyclic structure of adamantane, that means the adamantane has 3 rings. It means adamantane has 3 rings and 4 chair structure. You have to learn the number of the chair forms and the rings that are going to present in the adamantane, because it's very important for exam point of view. Thank you.